The comorbidities of encephalopathy include viral encephalitis, pyogenic meningitis, anemia, leukopenia, and thrombocytopenia. My client specifically struggles with extreme short-term memory loss, and she is seeking occupational services to work on her sequencing skills and to learn how to deal with her sudden memory loss. Also, occupational therapy needs to assess what occupations she can still remember to do, such as brushing her teeth and washing her hair. Client was successful with activities that required only a few steps, like 1 or 2 steps. I also noticed that she was successful with especially grooming skills, but I think it's because that's her long term. I think it was because she just remembered it because it was a habit that she did every single day, and she could do it without the use of verbal cues. But her short-term memory was so bad that she would think that she would have left the hospital and went and got an ice cream and would come back. Like, we would see her, my coach and I would see her in the morning for an hour or so of therapy, and then we came back in the afternoon for a half hour, and she told us how she left and got ice cream with her brother or something and came back, and my coach said, no, you haven't left at all. You've been in the hospital since however, like, it was like 23 days at the time. And they actually had a sign that they put on the wall that in all caps and black ink said, I have been here 23 days, and then it'd say the hospital name, and it said, so it's been a problem. So I knew it's not safe for her to discharge or to live by herself without someone looking after her, because she could leave the stove on, she could leave her, if she straightened her hair, she could leave her hair straightener on. There's a lot of different things that she could hurt herself if she was discharged to home. And she actually asked my coda straight up. She asked her if it's okay if she can just go home. And she's like, no, I don't think you're safe. You can't. There's no way. And it was interesting to see that conversation, because she thinks she's okay and she doesn't understand that her memory is so bad that she thinks that she went somewhere where she didn't go at all, and she thinks that she doesn't understand that she's still at the hospital. So it's little weird things, but then she was still able to bathe herself without verbal cues. She was still able to brush her teeth and wash her hair and brush her hair and walk, and so it's definitely different. It affected some part of her brain that I don't quite understand. Anyways, some tests I believe that she should take, which I assume that they took for her for OT, was the SLUMS, the MOCA, or the Mini Mental Status Exam. And she was supposed to discharge from the hospital to another hospital, but I forgot where. And I'm sure that they'll do another test to see how her short-term memory's gotten from those tests. At an inpatient setting, for interventions, where I was, they mostly did showers and grooming tasks, and then sometimes they would walk them down to the gym and they would do some strengthening exercises or balance exercises. But what I noticed for her was after every therapy session, they had her fill out a thing called kind of like a memory book. So I wrote down a few examples where she would have to write down what they did in therapy, and then how she felt about therapy that day, and then what she wanted to do in therapy tomorrow. And then there's a couple other questions I don't quite remember. But we would just have gotten done doing therapy for an hour, and then basically all we did was take a shower and do grooming tasks. And she couldn't remember that we took a shower that day when it was only like a half hour ago. So this is a very interesting client, and it's interesting to see how encephalopathy can affect different parts of the brain, and each case is different, obviously, but this was really fun to work on this with her and work with her as a student. So, yeah.